There has to be evil so that good can prove its purity above it. The poisonous serpent of afflictions is sleeping in your mind, just as if a black viper were asleep in your room. You must use the hook of precepts to quickly remove it. When the sleeping snake is gone, then you can rest at ease. 1 moment, 10,000 years. 10,000 years, 1 moment. How wonderful, how miraculous, all beings, but all beings, are fully endowed with the wisdom and power of the Tathagat. But, sadly, human beings, due to sticky attachments, are not aware of it. Just as the bee takes the nectar and leaves without damaging the color or scent of the flowers, so should the sage act in a village. There is no more self-contradictory concept than that of idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of a whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought we have either contributes to truth or to illusion. You are all the Buddha. I teach about suffering and the way to end it. To know and not to use is not yet to know. Do not breathing in the chronological, do not dream of the later, drain the intellect on the bring about twinkling. To abstain from lying is essentially wholesome. Dharma is not upheld by talking about it. Dharma is upheld by living in harmony with it. Therefore, be ye lamps unto yourselves, be ye a refuge to yourselves. Hold fast to the truth as a lamp, hold fast as a refuge to the truth. Look not for refuge to anyone besides yourselves. Reverence, humility, contentment, gratitude, and hearing the good Dhamma, this is the best good luck. To support mother and father, to cherish wife and children, and to be engaged in peaceful occupation, this is the greatest blessing. One who does not rouse themselves when it is time to rise, who, though capable, is full of sloth, whose will and thought are weak, that lazy and idle person will never find their way to true knowledge. Rain falls, wind blows, plants bloom, leaves mature and are blown away. These phenomena are all interrelated with causes and conditions, are brought about by them, and disappear as the causes and conditions change. All tremble at violence, all fear death. Putting oneself in the place of another, one should not kill nor cause another to kill. Temperance is a tree which has for its root very little contentment, and for its fruit calm and peace. If you don't disturb yourself, like a broken gong does not vibrate, then you have achieved nirvana. Irritability no longer exists for you. Wherever there is possession of marks, there is fraud. Wherever there is no possession of no marks, there is no fraud. Hence the Tathagata is to be seen from no marks as marks. If there be one righteous person, the rain falls for his sake. To force oneself to believe and to accept a thing without understanding is political, and not spiritual or intellectual. A wrong action may not bring its reaction at once, even as fresh milk turns not sour at once. Like a smoldering fire concealed under ashes, it consumes the wrongdoer, the fool. Explanation of the unspeakable cannot be finished. Careful amidst the careless, amongst the sleeping wide awake, the intelligent man leaves them all behind, like a racehorse does a mere hack. What is the appropriate behavior for a man or a woman in the midst of this world, where each person is clinging to his piece of debris? What's the proper salutation between people as they pass each other in this flood? Follow the way of virtue. Follow the way joyfully through this world and on beyond. But when one masters this wretched desire, which is so hard to overcome, then one's sorrows just drop off, like a drop of water off a lotus. Just as a line drawn on water with a stick will quickly vanish and will not last long, even so, Brahmins, is human life like a line drawn on water. It is short, limited, and brief, it is full of suffering. One should do good and live a pure life, for none who is born can escape death. I have the body of a god. Whatever grounds there are for making merit productive of a future birth, all these do not equal a 16th part of the liberation of mind by loving kindness. The liberation of mind by loving kindness surpasses them and shines forth, bright and brilliant. Let your mind become clear like a still forest pool. Hate never ends hate. Only love can. Drink deeply. Live in serenity and joy. He whose inflowing thoughts are dried up, who is unattached to food, whose dwelling place is an empty and imageless release, the way of such a person is hard to follow, like the path of birds through the sky. Find out for yourself what is truth, what is real. Discover that there are virtuous things and there are non-virtuous things. Once you have discovered for yourself, give up the bad and embrace the good. If a man should conquer in battle 1,000 and 1,000 more, and another should conquer himself, his would be the greater victory, because the greatest of victories is the victory over oneself. Ye must leave righteous ways behind, not to speak of unrighteous ways. Through zeal, knowledge is gotten, through lack of zeal, knowledge is lost. Let a man who knows this double path of gain and loss thus place himself that knowledge may grow. All rising to great places is by a winding stair. There are having flowers in spring, breezes in summer, moon in autumn, snows in winter. If there is nothing worrying over you, it will be the best seasons at all times. To insist on a spiritual practice that served you in the past is to carry the raft on your back after you have crossed the river. Never in the world does hatred cease by hatred, hatred ceases by love. Don't give way to heedlessness or to intimacy with sensual delight, for a heedful person, absorbed in jhana, attains an abundance of ease. All acts of living become bad by 10 things, and by avoiding the 10 things they become good. There are 3 evils of the body, 4 evils of the tongue, and 3 evils of the mind. Let us live in joy, never falling sick like those who hate us. Let us live in freedom, without hatred even among those who hate. If a man who enjoys a lesser happiness beholds a greater one, let him leave aside the lesser to gain the greater. The virtues, like the muses, are always seen in groups. A good principle was never found solitary in any breast. For innumerable reasons, Mahamati, the Bodhisattva, whose nature is compassion, is not to eat any meat. Life is short, spend it in the pursuit of inner peace, compassionate connections, and meaningful moments.